Alrighty then. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Paws Up podcast. It's been another busy week for us, but this is our 43rd episode of the show. We're just coming off a wonderful chat with Nicole Frank a couple days ago on episode 42. Now we're here at 43, and we have another awesome guest with us today. It is Adam Benna, the co-founder of the Blueprint Collective Group. Adam, thank you so much for spending some time with us. Just how the hell are you doing?
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it. Really excited to be here tonight and talk to you guys about the Blueprint Collective and how we're trying to help student athletes at FIU.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It is. We've had so many discussions with players and coaches through these episodes about NIL and where NIL is at, and to see a group like the Blueprint Collective come along for FIU, it's very interesting, right? So I wanted to ask you, I know there's still a lot of people not completely in the know about NIL or the Blueprint Collective for that matter, because of course it is a brand new service for FIU. So just in your own words, how would you best describe what the Blueprint Collective is for FIU athletics?
Yeah, so we're an exclusive partner for FIU athletics and the student athletes at FIU. We help assist the student athlete in the NIL space. We work with sponsors, donors, alumni, interested people in athletics who want to support student athletes, and we help facilitate those avenues for the athlete at FIU. Right now, currently, we have 3 athletes. We have Deshaun Giddens, Arturo Dean, and Kewan Jenkins. So got 3 great athletes on campus and 3 great guys, and they're fully committed to the collective and really spearheading this new NIL space for FIU athletics. So it's a really exciting time.
Yeah. So, Adam, you've been all over Miami-Dade County, right? Very busy man. Local chambers of commerce, bar association, and local politics. You dabble in a lot of things, right? So, but I wanted to know, Adam, when did you first become a fan of the FIU Panthers, and just how long have you been following the programs prior to starting this Blueprint Collective?
So I've been living in Miami now. I've lived here 12 or 13 years. I can't remember exactly the date, but I'm a sports fanatic. Been that my whole entire life. Very familiar with the pros that have attended FIU. T.Y., Rajah Bell, Carlos Arroyo, John Smith. So I've been familiar with the program for a long time. I'm also very friendly, I guess, with some of the coaches and built these relationships over the last year. And also have been really interested in the NIL space. I think there's this negative connotation out there with NIL and with student athletes getting paid for their name, image, and likeness. And I think there's 2 ways of looking at it. Is of course I think there was that negative stigma for a long time because people were doing it the wrong way and doing it under the table, and it was illegal at one point. But guess what? Now these athletes can really take advantage of their name, image, and likeness, and they're able to, be compensated for that. So, for me, FIU is a sleeping giant. It always has been, and I know people in the community for a long time have been talking about, when is FIU athletics going to really be able to, get to that point of, okay, there's a lot of success going on here at such a great school in such a hotbed of talent, especially in South Florida and Florida. So really for me, I just wanted to be a part of that. I think myself and my partner Michael both have been involved in athletics. He's been a coach on the high school level for a long time, so he's got a lot of relationships with a lot of people in Miami. And for me, it's just I'm a practicing attorney, so for me, it kind of was like a perfect situation for the both of us, and we love sports, and we believe in FIU, and I really think very highly of Scott Carr. I think he's gonna continue to continue to improve the program and really build, a real successful program. So thought it was a great opportunity to jump into it and help out, guys like Arturo and Kiwan and Deshaun, because they're great guys. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of want to ask you, Adam, a little bit just about the timetable of the Blueprint Collective. Like, when did this idea come to fruition, and how long did it eventually take to kind of become what it is today?
So we started talking about it in the beginning of this year in January. Had a lot of meetings with a lot of different people, coaches, some of the FIU athletic staff, really trying to better understand what the landscape was of NIL and what the interest was at the university. And, now being like an official partner and being the official NIL collective of the university, I think that really shows kind of the buy-in that we're going to continue to build off of. But it's been, we're in December, and it's been a full year of really just working to get this thing off the ground. Getting guys like Keon and Arturo and Deshaun to even buy in, and really talented guys that have really bright futures, not only just at FIU, but potentially to go pro and play professional football and basketball. So it's been a lot of buy-in and a lot of selling and a lot of discussions, and it's been a really busy year. I think this year was really laying the foundation and continuing, to do things like this with you guys and get your support and, be in front of your audience and really talk to the alumni and informing them of how beneficial it is to get involved with the collective. Because really at the end of the day, I know you guys know this, but, alumni and people in the community may not know, but NIL is a powerful tool for the collective and in turn the university to really be able to retain and go out and attract talent. And this is a tool that's being used across the country now, and we need to play catch up. I don't think Scott would back away from that. I think everyone acknowledges the fact that FIU is playing catch up, but I think we can turn around really quickly. And, it starts with getting some really talented guys. And I think we do have a bunch on campus, and we need to keep that talent here. So
I want to ask you about Michael. Obviously, you mentioned him a little bit ago. He's also, doing this with you. Just when did you meet him, and how did you guys both kind of just come to the agreement that you guys were going to do this?
So I've known Michael almost 11 years now. So he was, at the time when I first met him, he was head basketball coach at LaSalle. So we had a relationship through that, and built a relationship and have become very close over the years. And this was kind of just a perfect timing sort of thing where we were having a discussion. He knows Arturo through the local basketball circuit. He's helped Arturo a lot. So having that kind of relationship with a player like Arturo, having the relationship with a guy like Deshaun from basketball over at Putnam, just knowing the talent that's there at FIU, and just trying to uplift and support these guys as much as we can. So that's how our relationship has kind of blossomed into what it is now, not just friends but also business partners. So it's been good.
And I want to know, one of the mottos that, you look at the website, it talks about with FI Athletics is being a sleeping giant. And obviously in Miami and the hotbed of athletes around us, there's so much talent, and FI can be a part of that. Talk a little about that motto and how you're trying to, use that and where did that originate from, and trying to help grow the brand as well with FI Athletics and really, be a part of, building something and starting to build a culture here with athletics.
So I think it starts with guys like Arturo and Kiwan, literally right in our backyard, guys that have grown up here, that have been a part of the community. Keon's a 3-time state champ at Miami Central, so like the culture will start with, big, talented, big personalities, big guys that are here. And really to show other talent out there, hey, if these guys are staying and they're at FIU and, they're killing it, why aren't you here? But again, I think, it'd be naive to not acknowledge the fact that, they are extremely talented guys, but at the end of the day, NIL needs to, or the collective needs to do what they can do to get these guys some opportunities on the financial side. So, they have all the talent. They're definitely tone setters. They're winners, and they're incredible people. But it's also a business at the end of the day. And the product on the field or on the court, is one thing. Arturo's having an amazing season already. I think he's leading the country now in steals.
He's on pace to break the NCAA record at this rate. Yeah.
And he was Conference USA Freshman of the Year last year. Yeah. So, and Kewan, coming in as a true freshman, and really, I think what we saw in those first couple weeks, people were blown away. I mean, this guy was top 25 in pass yards across the country, and this is a true freshman. So, what you saw was a progression throughout the year of just the talent, and cream rises to the top, and those two guys are what we want to showcase to the rest of the landscape of athletes out here in this hotbed. And if we can take care of these guys, I think more people will come. But it's a work in progress, and I think they are definitely people that if I was at FIU athletics and I want to set the tone as far as the culture, those are two guys right there. And obviously Deshaun as well is another talented guy. But locally, I think Arturo and Kewan really have the opportunity to really get some other local talent to commit to FIU athletics.
Yeah.
And one topic I want to hit on, you talked a little about it before, is NIL. And obviously that's, the big thing in college athletics. What have you seen it and how it's utilized in recruiting guys, and specifically how it's impacted really college athletics? You look at it from the Power 5 perspective, and how kind of it's been a part of also the G5 as well.
Yeah, so it's a really good question. And I probably have too many thoughts that would run us through the whole entire night, but I'll keep it simple for you. What I've seen so far has been a massive gap amongst the largest universities with the deepest pockets and schools like us. It's really, 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 really difficult to compete in this space right now. And if you don't have complete buy-in from the alumni and local businesses and donors, you get left in the dust. I mean, look at what happened, us losing Denver last year to Auburn, prime example. You're talking about an NBA talent, and when you look at a Power 5 school and you look at, the lower, the G5s, it's a major gap. And it's really, really, really hard to retain top level talent. Of course, the coaches are working super hard to build those relationships and make sure that guys know that they're getting the best support to reach the ultimate level, which is to go pro. But, money talks, and so it's really, really hard to, keep up. I think at this point, I've talked to collectives that alone, their football teams are going to cost them per year. They're starting, 22 is like $10 to $15 million. And that's not even the top end. So just think about that, that's what we're competing against. And that's a lot of money, and in order to get, but I think it's twofold. Is you need to win, because if you don't have winning as part of the culture and the team aspect, alumni is not going to be engaged, donors will not be engaged. So it's like a really, really tough balance, because, again, if you want to win, you need the best talent. So how do you get the best talent? You need money. So it's like, oh man, what do you do? And you don't want to lose guys. So I hope that kind of answers the question. It's just there's a lot of work involved, and there needs to be more buy-in. That's my challenge. I think tonight, coming onto your guys' podcast, if alumni are listening, we need your help. And I've talked to a lot of alumni, and there's a lot of alumni that's definitely interested. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. You visit the website, you could always reach out to me via email. I can always answer emails. I can get on a call with anybody. I'm happy to go meet with anybody. But even a $5 contribution per month, if you think about the amount of alumni that we have at FIU,
Yeah.
right? I was talking about a football team at a big school costing $10 to $15 million. That's not what we need. We don't need that. We're not there yet. Really, we just need to start retaining our talent, and I think we've lost talent over the years. The football team, we got guys into the portal. We lost Chris Mitchell this year. We're losing, and that's an NFL guy. I mean, that's a guy that will go and play in the NFL. Absolutely, 100%. Like, there's no doubt about it. So, again, you look at the talent that's gone, and if our alumni are hundreds of thousands of alumni were like, hey, yeah, I'll give them $5 a month. Think about how much that would change the game for us. It really would. Then we would really be playing. We'd be cooking with gas, and it would really change the game. So that's like, I think, for everything that we talk about tonight, that's my biggest thing is like, we have to challenge our base, our fan base, our donor base, our sponsors. Everybody needs to get on board, because in order to have a successful athletics program and have successful teams and winning teams, this is the space we have to play in. You have to. You cannot ignore this anymore. So,
yeah, definitely no easy answer for NIL as it continues to sort of evolve as the semesters go by. So let's talk a bit about the three amigos, the three players that are a part of the Blueprint Collective, starting with, I believe, who was the very first to join, unless both Dean and Jenkins joined at the same time. Sure, Dean, I believe, was the first to join, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so
first one, man.
Yeah. So he had, as you said, a remarkable freshman campaign. He's putting up numbers in year two as well, especially with the steals. So just talk about what you've seen from him so far on the court and off the court. What was it like to have someone like him, Miami product, become specifically the first athlete that the collective has represented?
I can't say enough great things about Arturo. I think, we've challenged him, beginning from last year, is like, hey, everyone knows you're talented, but go and show it now, and he's really taken that challenge. I mean, what you saw last year as a true freshman, for this guy, to come out and, get the recognition that he rightfully deserves, but also put in that work. But coming off such a successful season last year, obviously wanting more and wanting to improve, really the offseason, what I saw from him was a complete buy-in to be a professional. Mm-hmm. And, I don't like to share too many of the private conversations that I have, with these guys, because I think it's just between us, but I'll share this with you. I talked to him last week, and, I told him, I said, hey, I'm really proud of your buy-in, your commitment to being, what you wanting to be great. You want to be a great leader on the court and off the court. And I see that. I see that growth from him. And I'm so proud that we get to help him. He's such a great guy, just as an individual outside of just sports, but he's just like a great guy. And, one of the things that really impressed me so much was, Jake, we were talking about it before we got on, was the charity event that we did down in Homestead, down in Florida City, and over at Keys Gate. And, one of the big things that the NIL collective wants to focus on is not obviously just getting money in these guys' pocket, but also making sure that there's a community aspect to it. There's got to be some philanthropic part of this whole deal, because, at the end of the day, being a student athlete is one thing, but being a better human being is the other challenge that we like to, say to these guys is be the best person that you can be. So one of the things that we, discussed and what we settled on was that we were going to do a charity event for Arturo and Kiwan, where it would be back in their hometowns, and they would host a skills camp for kids before school started. So, we challenged Arturo to make sure that he worked hard on that, getting the word out, getting people to attend. We ended up having like 55 kids, all, paid through donations, sponsorships. And those 4 hours that he put in at that camp for those kids, he's a star, man. Like, outside just like the basketball part of it, the way he was able to engage with the kids and make sure that they had a great time, I was just blown away. And Kiwan too, Kiwan, we did an open locker for him, and it was a great event. His family came out, his old Miami Central teammates, some of his FIU teammates came out and supported, and the kids were so happy. And, that's what you want to see from these guys is, the buy-in, a complete buy-in.
Yeah.
Because, if it's just like, hey, man, I just want to make the money and that's it, well, it's probably not the right fit for us then. Because,
Yeah.
if I'm going to go and talk to a donor or a sponsor, I want them to know that they're getting not only just the best athletes, but also like the best people, because their brand, these guys that we're working with, they need to be focused on the complete brand, off the field, when you go in the classroom, people are going to say hi to you. You want to be nice to everybody. It's not just about the product on the court and on the field. So, really, Arturo was a great first founding member, and then Kiwan, another one. And then bringing on Deshaun Giddens was the third, and he's an incredible athlete and an incredible person. He's a real top-notch guy, man. Really, really proud of him and the hard work that he's been putting into. And I know it was a tough start for the basketball team. This, starting out here, they had some tough games. They had a close one against Miami, but I'll tell you this, they're putting in the work to get better. And I think down the stretch here, as this like second part of the season approaches after the holidays, you'll definitely see that. These guys are going to put it together.
You kind of talked a little bit about Keyone and the rest of the guys, just kind of, and I guess I would ask, just how do you guys present this idea to these guys? Because as always, I mean, it's still a pretty new idea that you guys have, or something that's coming to more fruition as the years go. And, or, I mean, for example, Arturo was the first. Just like, how did you present this idea to someone like Arturo, who, at the end of the day, was the first one to join?
So it was kind of a collaborative thing because, I mean, they're college athletes, so they're aware of the fact that there are NIL opportunities. And I think the athletics department and my guy Kevin Kendrick, special shout out to him, and Heath and the whole crew over there. They've done a good job of kind of steering these guys in the right direction to make sure they're making the correct decisions and the right decisions, because obviously everyone has to comply with NCAA regulations, and the student athlete will go to a guy like Kevin and want to have a conversation and figure out what NIL is, and then obviously making that introduction, connections, educating, because sometimes it's just like, oh yeah, I want to do NIL, but no one really knows what it is. So like that's where obviously the collective informing, laying out the blueprint for the success of the athlete. It's really important that we do that. So it was a collaborative effort from the jump. Obviously, Michael's relationship with Arturo from high school helped a lot in building that trust. But trust is something earned, and we got to earn the trust of the guys and make sure that we're showing them that we're doing everything we can to make sure that we get them every opportunity. So.
Wow. All right. Well, Kevin, is it time for a break?
Let's do it. News break.
All right. Then let's get right into the Paws Up podcast. News break, your quick update source for all things FIU athletics and just FIU in general. So let's start off with basketball, both men's and women's, as both of those teams are coming off very different trips to Boca Raton to take on the FAU Owls. Yesterday, the men's team struggled early on against, granted, one of the best teams in the country, and it resulted in a 90-64 defeat. However, the women's team came into Boca and walked away with a W and an absolute nail-biter. They led for almost 40 full minutes. They never trailed. That game, or the men's team, will host Trinity College this Saturday, and the women's team will host Texas State on Monday. Next up, FIU Track and Field has recently revealed their schedule for the upcoming season for both indoor and outdoor meets. The indoor meets begin on January 12th at the UF Invitational in Gainesville and span all the way to late February for Conference USA Championships. Then the outdoor matches are set to begin on March 15th and 16th in Coral Gables for the Hurricane Invitational. The invitationals continue to late April, and then a conference champion, and then the Conference USA Championships again, this time in early May. It's worth noting for the travelers that some cities that FIU will head to include Orlando, Tallahassee, Nashville, and New York City. So finally, a recent invention by an FIU graduate by the name of Laura Garcia has created something that could possibly assist in preventing injuries for athletes, specifically runners. The device is called Dash One. It's a wearable technology system that quote empowers athletes to improve their form and performance in real time. And quote, the device contains sensors that, when you exercise, monitor rotation, orientation, and positioning of the body as you do so, lighting up either red or green to indicate if your form is correct. Garcia believes that collaborations with the FIU athletic centers, not to mention other universities in the South Florida region, can help Dash One grow in name. So that was your very brief news break. So, Adam, it's been fun having you on. Something I did want to talk about as we start to slowly wrap up here is working with Scott Carr, because again, I would also say Heath Click as well, as for the basketball wise. And once again, we spoke with Heath Click not that long ago. He brought up the Blueprint Collective among other groups at FIU. Just talk about what you've done with Scott and Heath to build a relationship there, especially as the Blueprint Collective continues to grow.
They're great partners. I've known Scott Carr's work now for a while. I know what him and Danny White did up at UCF. Big fans of that. I think what we've been able to put together over the last year has been really putting a strategy together in hopes that like a 5-year outlook and plan for success, and getting that buy-in from Scott all the way throughout the FIU athletics department. Because again, complete buy-in from the university, and it starts at the top. So getting Scott's buy-in and blessing was huge for us, and becoming an official partner and sponsor of FIU athletics is another big step for us. And then really now just getting more alumni engagement, because I think that's the one big thing that we've really lacked thus far has been alumni engagement. And we've got this huge alumni base throughout, Florida, and we really haven't tapped into that yet. And I think that's like the next stage of all of this, is that we really need to start, exploring that. And that goes, with the help of Scott, making sure that, everyone knows that FIU Athletics is supporting us in this endeavor. And I know Sarah over at Alumni Relations is another great partner of ours. And it's a complete buy-in. So, Heath has been a great supporter too. And you guys know he's uber positive and incredibly, he's just a great guy. So having someone like Heath in our corner is huge for us. I mentioned Kevin Kendrick. So no, we've got a good support system there and a great partnership. And, now it's time to continue to put in the work on my end and Michael's end, and make sure that Arturo and Kiwan and Deshaun do everything they can do to, continue to get the word out that what the collective does and how we can continue to support the athlete, because really that's the goal, is providing, as many opportunities through NIL as possible for the athletes.
Obviously, as we kind of wrap up here, you talked about the Blueprint Collective and the outlook and the future of it. I know you obviously have 3 athletes now, but is there opportunities to expand to other sports or other athletes from other sports here at FIU?
Absolutely. I'm hopeful that our next athlete will be one of the women's team's athletes. We've got some amazing women's team sports. Soccer had an incredible season. So, Coach Jonathan, and what a great guy. Baseball's great. Softball. I mean, we've got an incredible group of athletes that need the support. And like I said to you guys offline before, for us, I feel it would be a disservice to continue to bring athletes on without being able to really give them some sort of financial support. Mm-hmm. The minute I can do that, I will absolutely do that. I really, really want to do that. I just think, it's important that we grow this thing the right way, and that we don't, bring an athlete on and try to, we got to make sure we do the right thing for the athlete. That's the most important thing. So as we continue to, evolve and grow this thing, yes, there will be more athletes, and the next one will absolutely be a female. And I'm excited because I think there's some great teams out there, and I'm ready to support. So.
Yeah, no, that's super exciting. The roster that you can build out of a full list of athletes that could be part of the Blueprint Collective, man, it's lights out, man. It's like
Lights out! Lights out!
All right.
I like that.
that was a I guess that also counts as a very interesting teaser for our next guest. But that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say for now on that.
There
We'll
you
have
go.
some more news this weekend. Adam, let's start again. We're wrapping up here. I want to give the floor to you for your final message, man. If you have anything you want to say regarding the Blueprint Collective, to the athletes, to fans, to people wondering about NIL, the floor is yours.
Well, I appreciate that, and thanks, guys, for your time. I think what you guys are doing is incredible. And listen, I mean, it's a simple message. This collective, FIU Athletics, we need your support. Without your support, it's not going to, we won't be successful. We need alumni engagement. We need donors. Go to blueprintnil.com to, look us up, support us. Like I said, send me an email. I'm happy to hop on a call. I will talk with whoever. I want this thing to evolve to continue to help support FIU athletics and its student athletes. And like I said, it's a work in progress, but we're going to continue to work and make sure that we're giving everything to these student athletes to make sure that we're winning on the field and off the field. So I appreciate you guys' time. I definitely look forward to the next time I can come on the podcast and continue to have the conversation with you guys. And definitely looking forward to hearing who the next guest is for your next show.
Yeah, man. Should be a good one. But again, if you want to support the Blueprint Collective, the link is right there. Of course, also follow Adam and the Blueprint Collective on Twitter and Instagram and all the social media platforms. It's a great service. We're happy to have you on board to sort of spread the message because we know it's something that's going to grow as FIU athletics grows. The Blueprint Collective, we hope, will also grow as well. So, Adam, again, thank you so much for being on with us. It's been a pleasure.
Appreciate it, guys. Paws up.
Yeah. What he said. Paws up.
Paws up.